what has given rise, I think, at least in my mind, to these centers, there's a similar one at Wyoming that I was involved with. I was just talking to the two representatives from there. It was 13 years ago that center was started in Wyoming. Then again here at Washington State with Washington State University and the University of Washington, there is a thirst for this kind of application of the assets of the university to be put against the problems of the state and help the state in solving them. And as all of you know, the universities aren't here to solve the problems. They're here to help the state and help the people that are going to be impacted by that solution solve their own problems. Well, why do we need this kind of thing? What is it? Why doesn't our democracy work better than it apparently has in recent years? That we need sort of new institutional arrangements or new processes to attempt to solve disputes. If we rely on the traditional mechanisms for resolving disputes, the courts and the legislature, both of which are enshrined in our Constitution, and therefore institutions which are funded by the taxpayers. People go to schools like I did to study law and then pursue one of the articles of our Constitution that puts dispute resolution in the judiciary. The kinds of things that you all are doing and that we're suggesting universities participate in is not written in any constitution that I'm aware of. And trying to get money to help people come together and resolve their differences in ways that are both democratic, peaceful, and often effective is not supported generally by our society. So it seems to me what we're doing in engaging universities in this effort, in this exercise, is really kind of unique. It's a kind of exercise in making democracy work better. And not by less democracy, but by more, by getting the people together and saying, okay, we can't solve this in the courts or the legislature. We've been trying for 30 years, so why don't you all try to solve your own problems? Why don't you sit down? Well, if the universities can help in doing that, it performs a tremendous service for the state or whatever jurisdiction the university is located. And I came to believe after 2 times at EPA that a lot of the reasons we couldn't solve problems is that we had flawed processes. Well, one of the things that seems to me universities can really be good at is where people come in and ask for help, whether it's from government or from the private sector or from wherever. It is suggesting a process that will really help them work through their own problems. And as all of us know who've been involved in this, there are no cookie-cutter processes that you can recommend that will solve every problem. For some, these kind of collaborative processes, as we think of them, don't work for certain kinds of problems. And in other cases, where they ought to work, they don't, because you haven't set it up right or you've got the wrong people involved. There can be all kinds of reasons. But there certainly are opportunities in states like this, and I think states that all of you represent, to apply the experience that we've gained in dealing with these processes and say to people, if an initial assessment suggests that things are ripe for collaboration, if you take these steps, your chances of success are tremendously enhanced. And for universities to be able to provide that kind of service to the state, at the same time to provide opportunities for research, which is sort of fundamental to the university to understand better how these processes work, what do you need to do to set them up to make them work, what kinds of problems do they work for, what are the results, what happens when the process is over, do we really make progress against these problems as opposed to just having people get around a table and feel better about things. Well, those are all researchable kinds of issues. There are opportunities for the students to learn firsthand from dealing with real-life problems and not sort of theoretical issues or case studies that they may not feel as attached to as they would if they were really directly involved in some kind of collaborative dispute resolution process. So, I mean, I think there are tremendous advantages to the state of having institutions in usually the most respected institutions in the state in their major universities be available to help the state solve its major problems, and at the same time they get problems solved. There are ways to deal with what appear to be intractable problems. So we have both benefit to the state and benefit to the university, and therefore there's no reason why these kinds of institutions shouldn't be set up in universities throughout the country.